Alright, so now we're into culture swap.
Swap my culture.
And what did we do this time, Jack?
Liam, this time I suggested a graphic novel that I picked up called Nameless.
Now, you said last time that the reason why you suggested it is because you thought that I would like this.
No. Pretty positive I didn't say you'd like it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you said that the reason why... Okay, maybe not why you suggested it. The reason why you added it to our list of things to do is because you thought I would like it, and you'd recommended it to me in the past, and you sent me a picture of a page of it.
The reason that I added it to our list, Liam, is because when I text you about this, in that message, you said add it to the list.
Yeah, because I'm
so not my fault at all that you ended up reading this. Your own fault, buddy.
Yeah. I had to buy a hardcover of it, Jack.
I don't care. I want to talk about the actual thing. I don't care that you had to buy a hardcover.
Okay.
Cool.
So, how do you want to talk about this?
I don't know. What did you think?
I thought it was brilliant.
Did you actually?
Well, I can't really have an actual opinion on it because here's the issue. Whatever I say, if I say anything about
honestly,
it,
I'm not going to call you out on anything. Say what you want.
No. If I say anything negative, you're just going to go, oh, well, I knew you was going to say that. I said last week you was going to say that. So
I'm not going to do that. I'm interested in your opinion. I wouldn't have suggested it if I didn't care what you thought.
Alright, my opinion of it is I can see why, like, if let's say you had recommended it, I can see why you would have done it.
I did.
Because there was a couple of pages here and there that almost felt like they were literally just copied from Crossed.
I don't know about copied. I know what you mean.
Yeah, like not.
I don't think copied is fair. I don't think Crossed can just claim gore as its thing. Now.
No. But like, okay, they would have fit in Crossed. Like,
yes,
naturally.
They would have. Yeah.
So I get why you might have recommended it or thought I would have liked it.
Well, I think that's what I sent you in that message so long ago.
Yeah.
Was the panel... Fair warning, everyone. We forgot to warn you.
Spoilers.
This will be full of spoilers. If you are interested in reading Nameless, turn this off now. If you don't really care that we're going to spoil it, keep listening. Or if you've read it before, keep listening. That's
One thing I would say is I think it's a very hard thing to spoil because I think to be able to spoil something, it has to have, like, structure. Like, there has to be a thing about it that you can spoil.
Because there are things that happen in this that if you knew beforehand would be spoilers.
Maybe. I mean, I'll be honest.
I mean, like, okay, so because I read it for the second time, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that Darius, the rich billionaire...
Yeah.
I knew that he was possessed, effectively, by the space monster from the beginning.
Was he?
Yeah.
Alright, here's what I would like us to do. Jack, can you please tell us what it's about?
Yeah, I can't do a short version. We sort of discussed this at the beginning, but because it is like, there is a logical structure and order, but it sort of falls apart and things seem to jump around a lot.
Yeah, but, we always do a nice brief, like, two-sentence or less synopsis.
Not going to be able to do that for Nameless.
Well, you can try.
No, you can't. You can't.
Okay.
A cult expert, that's occult with an O, ends up working for super billionaire who sends him to the moon to stop an asteroid hitting the Earth. Asteroid ends up being a prison for mythological titans. Lots of possession, lots of stuff. Does it turn out to be them? Is it all real? Who knows, is the brief synopsis of this graphic novel.
Yeah, so if that sounds like something that you like the idea of reading, you read like a whole book and at the end your takeaway is who knows if this is actually what I've read.
No, there's a legit answer. Because I'm so fascinated by this story, I've done a lot of researchy sort of reading into things.
Right, but my question is, okay...
Uh-huh.
It entirely feels like the sort of thing that if you liked, you could research and get a lot more information from.
No, I didn't do it the first time I read it. This is only the second time.
I know, but what I'm saying
the first time I sent it to you after reading it, I literally put the book down and messaged you and was like, Liam, you need to read this.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so you've done research to get stuff out of it, but...
No, you're not listening to me. You're doing that thing where you say yes, and then you immediately say the thing that I'm telling you I didn't do.
Right, but...
I did it after the second time I read it, Liam. Yeah. Yes, I looked more into it, right?
Thank you.
The first time I read it, I still got a lot out of this book.
Yeah, but...
I had my own ideas on the story. Like, you don't come out of it and go, I don't know what happened. I have no ideas.
I did.
Right, well then you're a fucking idiot.
It's not that I had no ideas, it's that I genuinely feel like the structure of the book is deliberately obtuse in a way to make it seem smarter than it is because you have to do like additional research and try and figure
you don't
stuff
have
out.
to. Right, so the thing that I looked it up before we started the episode, okay? And the thing I looked up what the guy said in it, like this, people were like, oh, we're having this big discussion on Reddit. So I was reading through the Reddit thread about Nameless, right? And the one that was like top rated was effectively the same ideas I'd had from reading it. Like, it's not here's the be all end all, what's every single bit in this thing. It's like, what's the story here? Or like someone being like, I think this is what happened. And you go, oh yeah, that makes sense, because that's what I sort of assumed had happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can assume a lot, but the film is deliberately
it's a graphic
done
novel
in such a way that it doesn't actually give you like clear answers. You can be like, oh, I think this, but you couldn't just from the book itself very confidently say, I 100% know this is what it's about. Okay,
so to counter that specifically bit, what you just said, right? When you read the book, okay, so basically it starts on Earth. He gets a key, whatever. He goes to the moon. They're stopping an asteroid, right?
Yeah.
As they're exploring this asteroid, he gets flashbacks to this other experience he had in a place called Razor House.
Yeah.
Where it's revealed that he killed 13 people, thinks that it was someone else, but then he finds out it was him.
Yeah.
Right? And then at the end, he meets a character who he meets a character at the beginning and then re-meets her at the end.
Which is the veiled lady, right?
Yeah. And she's like, I'm actually trying to help you.
Yeah.
This whole thing's been about helping you, effectively, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, she basically confirms that. So the whole point of this guy's theory and what I had read into, right?
Yeah.
Basically, everything that happens in space isn't real. So he never goes to the moon. Basically, the start of this book, nothing happens in it that actually happens. It's all a metaphor for this creature that does exist, the monster, right? God.
Yeah.
That possesses him at Razor House, makes him kill everyone, and then the veiled lady eventually meets up with him and is trying to eradicate the creature from his mind, but the only way he can process that is by making it like a fictional story in his head.
I legitimately did not take that away from the film.
That is what she says at the end.
Yeah, I was really lost because how does how does the asteroid play into that?
So there isn't an asteroid. The asteroid is a representation of the god trying to kill humanity.
The fuck?
So the asteroid, nothing that happens in space.
Yeah.
There's none of that happens. It's all her trying to clear the monster from his mind, trying to like unpossess him, exorcise him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And his brain interprets that all as like this big story about how he's got to stop this asteroid and be a hero.
No, that annoys me because I actually the stuff that happened in space was my favourite stuff.
Yeah, no, and just because it's not real, it's still like some of the best parts of that graphic novel.
Yeah, but it almost feels like that then being like, well, none of it actually really happened. It undermines it a little bit. I feel.
No, because it happens, but it's not real. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's not like the end of a film where they go, that was all a dream.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is, so the characters and stuff that are introduced in that section, right?
Yeah, they're all real. They're all real people. They're all from the Razor House.
But they're in the space stuff. They would just be like drawn from his mind, right? So
they're the monster. They're the monster making. Well, you can read it either way, because it could be that it's all just his mind. But the monster's real, that's the point, Liam. So, like, all the stuff that happens in his head, it's not just him trying to not be crazy.
Well, how do we know the monster's real? Why are we
Because that's what the Veiled Lady's fighting against. Because the Veiled Lady is real.
Yeah, but why are we...
And she's specifically like, I'm trying to deal with this giant monster thing.
I don't understand why we're trusting this Veiled Lady.
Because she's Sophia.
Yeah, I got that.
So you trust her, because she's a good guy.
Also,
if you read... Because you read as well... At the end of the book, he has his, because the book is ridiculous and doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He's, written 5 pages, and each one is, analysing one of the comics and being like, this is what we were trying to explain.
I didn't read that bit, because I wanted to discuss, our thoughts and stuff on it before kind of reading someone being
Oh, see, but that's the thing. It doesn't, I think you're thinking it's going to help, which it doesn't.
No, I'm sure it won't. It would have probably annoyed me.
The only bit that applies to this is that the final part of that is him saying... He basically says the whole point of this story is women should, women are the heroes. That's literally what he says. It doesn't...
But I honestly...
Did you get that? But here's the thing, Liam. Did you get that from this book? Because I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No, but that's what I mean. So he clearly was like, Sophia is the hero of this story.
Yeah, but
Nameless.
There's no real evidence in the book itself that is what should be. If the goal of the book was for him to make that point, the book failed.
Yeah, I don't think you can say that's the goal of the book. Also,
No.
you're the one that says it doesn't matter what a person you specifically have said to me. I'm not allowed to judge things based on what.
Like, if that was his goal, but that's not what happened, but you still either enjoy or don't enjoy it for whatever reason, just because that was the goal, it doesn't like invalidate your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying, like if I set out to make a short film with the goal being be kind to animals, but the film is literally just me eating spaghetti, and you don't get that from the film, I failed as a creator because I didn't get my goal across. But if you still enjoyed the film,
then it's still a good film. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying.
I like the artwork. I really like the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just flicking through it now, right? This whole stuff about Sophia, and she's like the veiled lady, right?
Yeah.
Explain to me, if you will. There's a scene towards the end where, again, they're sort of in space, I guess, but it's not very clear. And they're both in their spacesuits, and she sort of attacks him in a way.
Yeah, that's
and,
not. That's when they're in the asteroid.
Yeah, and she kisses him. Like, how is that her helping him? Because I genuinely, I came away thinking Sophia was a bad person. Like,
well, no, because none of those people that are possessed. Like, this isn't me saying from like the theory's perspective, just from the book itself, right? Taking at face value, those people are all possessed.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like, I don't think you can leave and be like, Darius is a right dickhead.
But I was very suspicious of her because her whole reasoning for going on the whole space trip thing, right, was that she was kind of like trying to, correct me if I'm wrong, but like prove herself a little bit. Like, her dad had the money to do it basically, and she just wanted to. Yeah,
it is but then I don't think it's to prove herself. I think it was
suspicious of her.
She just wanted to save the world.
Yeah, I was just very suspicious of her motives. So I didn't really at any point feel like she was a character that I could necessarily trust.
Okay.
So, and then when that happens, to me, if you're already reading that with a suspicious mind, when she's then like on top of him kissing him and stuff, you're like, oh, even though she's possessed, like, this is what I guess she kind of, like, I didn't get it that she was the hero.
Well, I mean, she is the one at the end that saves the day, effectively.
I don't know how she saves the day. I didn't understand the end, Jack. Like, explain the last 2 pages to me, please.
I don't remember them. Do you want me to grab my copy as well? This is maybe what we need to do for this one.
Like, basically, I think
just sit here and be like, what the fuck is this?
I think it's the moon, and it looks like something crashes into the moon.
Yeah, which is meant to be the asteroid, but then if the asteroid isn't real, how does it crash into the moon?
Yeah, and then she says,
no, I get what you're saying.
It is done, and done well. All shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. And that's how it ends. And, like, to me, that just seems really fucking sinister.
Well, yeah, she is also, like, possessed by a parasite thing, I guess.
Wait, is real her possessed? I thought it was just space her, which was apparently a part of
Well, real her's not possessed, because at the beginning you find out about that face parasite.
Yeah.
And she says it's her husband.
Honestly, it just...
And then later on she says it's a memory. So, I think you're worrying too much, Liam.
I think...
Now, here's the thing. So, here's my argument for why none of what you're saying matters, and why I still love this book. Because I don't care about that story. Like, I do. I think it's interesting and fascinating. And the fact that I've looked into it, I clearly have an interest. But after I finished this the first time, and I was sitting there and I was like, all these weird things happen and none of it makes sense. I love that. I think that's great. Like, why does it have to make tons of real sense? And why... it doesn't need to. And it doesn't. And it's still great.
That's where we differ. Because I'm happy for some things to not make sense. I think when I was reading this, I was reminded a lot of a film called Cube, which I think you've seen.
I've seen Cube. Cube's shit.
It's a great film. You need to shut your mouth. The thing is, there are unanswered questions at the end of that film. But the film itself, the plot of the film, makes sense, but there's an extra layer to it that is left deliberately ambiguous. Whereas this, all of it is deliberately ambiguous.
Well, no, see, I don't think that's fair, because it does make sense. There's like tons of questions, and like, but if you, even without all that other stuff, right?
Yeah. If
you're just reading it as it is, it still makes sense.
It doesn't.
He gets a key. Okay, so like taking it at the straight face value. Yeah. None of the extra stuff. Straight like face value. He attacks the veiled lady and steals a key, which he's been paid to do. A billionaire has paid him to do that and says, "Yep, you've proven yourself. Let's go to the moon."
Yeah, because
to stop the asteroid. Right. That's ridiculous, but makes sense.
Yeah.
They go to the moon.
Yeah.
They fly to the asteroid. You discover that the billionaire has been possessed by some sort of monster.
Yeah, there's a really weird sequence as well that comes after that. You discover he's been possessed, right? Mm-hmm. And then like in the next couple of pages or so, he's got like a little drone thing that he talks to people on. You
Yeah,
tell
no,
me he's been possessed.
That's why. That's the bit that proves he's been possessed all along, Liam.
No. What?
Yes, because the drone shows a fake image. The drone is showing them fine. That's the whole point, Liam. And then later on, he turns that off and shows them the real him when he's attacking them with the drone.
See, I just thought that basically there is a point where it says that the drone. I thought it said it had like a delay or something, and I thought that's what was going on there.
No. He's been possessed the whole time.
Oh, it's just ridiculous.
It's all a plan for the alien monster to get them up there and unlock the door.
Of course.
Yes, because it's a prison. They tell you that.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense. Don't of course it, because that does make sense. They say in the comic, they specifically say, shit, this is a giant prison, and we've opened the door, and then he attacks them, and he's like, yeah, you did what I wanted, good job.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. So carry on.
So yeah, they go there, they go to the asteroid, and then it sort of breaks down into madness.
Yeah, it does.
I love it. I think it's fucking great.
Yeah, like, this is 100% a Jack thing. Like, if I was to just come across this by myself and read this, I bet this is Jack all over. It's got sci-fi, it's got a little bit of horror, and it's just a lot of bullshit.
And the occult. Don't forget the occult.
Of course, there's the occult as well. There's a lot of just names that don't really make any sense. Like Zabalba, I think. Probably pronounced it.
Oh, yeah, they're all like Mayan gods, apparently. And Polynesian gods.
Yeah. It was described. I'm trying to find that there was a way the comic described what was going on, like Knights of the Round on the Moon or something.
Sure, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Basically, I think if you like the sort of thing that is very interpretive, you can read it and extrapolate your own thing completely from it. This is great. But if you like to do that, but also have a solid like foundation to do that from, this is less great.
So here's my argument then, right?
Yeah.
But or maybe not an argument, because I'm not saying it to be argumentative. This.
Yeah.
Right. Donnie Darko is a great film.
I was actually going to bring Donnie Darko up next, because when I was talking to Kat about this, I used Donnie Darko as an example.
Yeah, and which is a good example.
Yeah.
Because Donnie Darko doesn't make sense.
No.
Which is why there were like forums, and probably still are forums, of people being like, my theory is this.
Yeah, so Donnie Darko is a good comparison. Where I would say it differs, because again, I was thinking about this a lot. Donnie Darko, I think, still works as a film when you take out... If you remove the sci-fi elements to it, okay? There will be bits that do not make sense, but it still has this nice, like, almost like coming-of-age story to Donnie Darko, okay? That you have the whole him going to school, meeting a girl, how that plays out, and then you add the next layer, which is all the sci-fi stuff, the stuff with Frank, how it all ends, and there are clues sprinkled throughout, so you can extrapolate what that means, and you have to do a bit of research, I think. Like the whole stuff about like wormholes and space-time theory and all that sort of stuff. There's like clues to it in the film, but none of those clues are actually built upon enough that you can just watch the film and understand what it's saying.
Yeah.
So it's 100% to get everything out of Darko, you have to go and research, I think, to a degree. And I feel like Nameless is trying to do that. It wants you to take more from it. You need to go and research.
I don't think that's true.
No,
I honestly, I think you. Yeah, no, but you're saying that, I don't know if you can say this is how I feel when you're saying like, this is what they did.
No, I feel like this is what the book wants me to do. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So I feel like the book wants me to understand it better, to do more research and understand more things. The problem is with Donnie Darko, I had like a base level where I understood an element to it at least, like the main story, the like, I get this kid and all that sort of stuff. This doesn't have that base level of understanding for me. I
don't understand how you didn't get a base level understanding.
Like, I think it just... Where it lost me...
Again, this comic makes sense. There's bits that are weird.
There's a lot that's weird.
Like, okay, so here's the thing. Like you said, Donnie Darko does that, right? And you've got to go do research. But if you didn't do the research, there's a base story there that you can understand, right?
Yes.
But you would get to the scene with the shit coming out of everyone's chests.
Yeah.
And if you had no understanding... Yeah. If you couldn't go, oh, maybe he's seeing where, like, clearly he's seeing where they're going because they show us that, or clearly that he's seeing their whatever tunnel presence bullshit, right? Yeah. You wouldn't, if you didn't have that base understanding, you couldn't watch that film and go, oh, okay, yeah. You'd go, wait, what? No, why has everyone got stuff coming out of their chest?
Yeah, it's only a short scene.
Yeah, and this makes sense, really, up until, there is a story that you can follow up until the veiled lady appears, and there's like a specific... Like
she appears
4 pages.
In like the first page.
No, I mean
page,
the veiled lady turning up for the like when she comes to save him.
I'd say it's split into like I think there's like 6 issues or whatever.
Yeah,
I was on board with it for the first like 2. Then by issue like 3 and 4, it was starting to lose me, and by 5 and 6, I was literally just reading it, but like it wasn't quite registering because I wasn't being able to figure out where these things necessarily fitted in. Because there's a certain point where the spaceship, there's a really good panel where the spaceship crashes and they all separate, right? And it's from that point on that I started really struggling, like piecing together where things went. Because the next bit is he wakes up being told that he's tried to claw his eyes out.
Yeah.
And then you have this weird like stuff where he just seems to be like in a hospital room or something, and people are just like talking to him normal. And then he goes back into the whole space stuff. And I think the thing is, but the last like couple of issues were just so all over the place for me that I couldn't fit where they went into the stuff that did make sense.
Okay. Well, I do get your arguments for it. Like, I get what you're saying. I would disagree with you on it not making sense or whatever. Like, I loved reading this and thought it was great and loved following along with it. Like, it didn't lose me when it started doing that. It just grabbed me even more because I was like, cool, I need to know what's happening. Yeah,
and I think that's what's important to say about this is I think while it might not traditionally make sense in like...
Stop saying that, because that's your opinion.
Yeah, no, but I mean, what I mean by that, like, traditionally, is, I mean, it's not like characters go from point A to point B and everything is solved by the end. Like, it doesn't follow your typical traditional structure, either.
No, but neither does Memento. So
yeah, I'm not saying this as a critique. I'm saying...
I don't know. It annoys me when you're like... Because I get what you're aiming for when you're saying this.
Yeah.
You're going to say, yes, I think there are people that are going to love the way this works, or there are people that are going to not like it, right? Which I agree with.
Yes.
But the people that will like it, they're not going to be sitting there going, this didn't make sense, but I love it. There'll be people that got it.
If it didn't make sense to you, you could still love it.
Yeah, that's fine. But it does make sense to some people, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think some people would definitely... I think...
I don't think it's a case of there is no story here to understand. I think it didn't appeal to you, which is fair enough.
I enjoyed the first, like... first issue I enjoyed.
Yeah, and that's cool, Liam. Yeah. I'm fine with that. I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when you started losing interest in it and didn't like, you were like, I can't figure out what's happening. I don't care, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think if you were the opposite, if you were like I was, where you were like, oh cool, I'm really into this now. I want to figure this out. When shit doesn't make sense, I'm not sitting there going, well, that doesn't make sense, but it's incredible. I'm sitting there going, oh well, what is this like? Trying to fit it together, right?
Yeah.
So then it does make sense to me because I fit it together and it followed followed along with what I took from it, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's that sort of thing where it's the sort of thing the more you bring to it, the more you can take from it.
Yes, that's a fair way of saying it.
Yeah, I think for me, it didn't hook me enough that I wanted to bring a lot into it to figure it all out, to take a lot away from it.
That's fine. I
think a good comparison to this would be a film that you recommended to me, which I didn't mind, called Event Horizon.
Oh yeah, I really like Event Horizon.
Yeah, I feel like this would fit into that sort of genre of things.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'd say there's not a lot that this will compare to.
No, probably not.
No. The art is really good though.
The art is incredible.
Yeah, you know, put it this way. After the first issue, I've thought back to the discussion we had on it last week, and I was like, it's all like spaceships and weird stuff. Blah, blah, blah. And after the end, by the end of the first issue, I was like, oh shit, man, maybe I've misjudged this. And then by the end of the six, I was like, nah.
No. Okay, so like, do you get what I was saying last time about not assuming it's because it's got sci-fi in it, but I don't think the main point, like, there's no, you know, lasers and shit. Like, the main antagonist is a mythical occult thing as opposed to a sci-fi monster.
A sci-fi book.
Yeah, no, it is. But do you get what I was saying when I was like, don't just assume it's like, because fucking that new film with Chris Pratt in it and what's her face?
Yeah.
That's a sci-fi film, but the core story is not going to be a sci-fi story. It looks like the core story is going to be, from what we've seen in the like trailers and stuff, the core story is going to be a love story.
Far too much. Yeah. But like sci-fi is such a wide thing that can cover sci-fi.
Every genre is such a wide category.
Well, westerns aren't that much.
Westworld is kind of a western.
Also a sci-fi.
Because they're wide.
One thing I would say, on the back, it says, it gives a very brief description, okay? It says, a veiled lady hunts her victims through human nightmares. Because I was looking through the back, and I was like, well, it sounds like we're going to be following a couple of different stories here. and that one particularly stood out. Like, I think I'll enjoy that story. Didn't really feel like a story point, like a plot point throughout. It literally like appears at the beginning and then reappears at the end. I wouldn't personally have put that on the back of the book as a way.
Oh,
of,
really,
like,
Liam?
describing
What
it.
the fuck would you have written for a blurb for this? Exactly. I think someone went, so can you just give us like a blurb? And they went, what? And they were like, oh, it needs a blurb on the back. And they went, right, it doesn't really fit that.
Yeah.
And someone went, no, write a fucking blurb. So they just went, right, fine, and just wrote whatever.
I'd have written pretentious, abstract sci-fi waffle.
How is it pretentious?
Let me count the ways, Jack.
Go on.
Let me count the ways.
Please.
The whole, all of it, basically.
Why is it pretentious?
It just it feels smug.
Whatever. See, this is when your bullshit annoys me the most. When you apply, like it's the same thing you did with Sense8, where you have like this issue where you think, yeah, you did, but you also complain about shit, and then you're like, yeah, because I think the director was doing this, and you're like, no, Liam, you think they did that, but no one fucking does.
Yeah.
Like it's you applying character to the people behind things that you don't know is a thing. You're just assuming.
Yeah, I feel like that when I say it has this like smug feeling about it, I think it knows that it's being deliberately obtuse in a way that it's like it feels snooty. It feels like it's a bit like, we know that this is quite dense and quite difficult to penetrate and crack, and there will 100% be people that won't feel that way, and they'll understand it quite quickly, and it will just click for them. But that will be a minor part of the audience. And they're like, I actually think for some people, and I'm not saying this is for you, I think for some people, what they will enjoy about it is that like smug feeling they get when they read it, and they're like, oh yes, I'm going to say I understood it because it makes me feel good.
Do you not get what my problem is with you saying shit like that?
No.
You try and give this, and it's this fixation. You've done it to a few things that I've suggested we watch.
Yeah.
So I think what it is when you watch something new. I'm not saying this is because it's me that you're saying this.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's because it's something new, right? Because all the stuff you suggest is stuff you've already read, so you like it, so you haven't got this issue with it.
Most of the time, yeah.
I think you have a tendency.
A couple of times we've done something that we were both doing.
Yeah, but then that's not something you've suggested, really. That's something that we've both been like, oh, that's good, we should do that.
Yeah.
But so what I'm saying is, you have a tendency to read something, and it's what you do in real life as well.
Yeah.
So I see why you do it, because you do it with everything.
Yeah.
Where you assume that something negative is happening.
Yeah.
So in this example, someone is looking down on you because you didn't get one scene, and you're like, well, fuck them for thinking that I'm not going to understand that. What a condescending bunch of pricks.
Fuck them at any point.
No, I know. I'm exaggerating. Again, that's what I do, Liam.
Yeah.
But that is how it feels sometimes. You're like, well, fuck this guy. You're not saying that. But like, you apply this emotion to something. Like, I just think, the way I imagine that Grant Morrison sat down and wrote this, and Thingy Majoogle, the artist, should have looked that up and can't remember what it was.
Chris Burnham.
Yep, him.
Yeah.
Right? I think when they sat down and came up with this idea, I don't think it was two guys going, you know what we should write? Something ridiculously hard for people to understand. And when all the other people don't understand it, we will sit here and laugh, and we'll look at blogs, and when someone messages the blog saying, hey, can someone explain this to me because I didn't get it, we will drink our whiskey and our wines, and we will smoke a cigar and laugh at the poor peasants. I think it was two guys who wanted to write something and were like, this is the idea we've got. Like, how weird can this get? We should make this crazy thing. I don't think they were trying to make you look bad, or anyone look bad.
That would be a hard task.
Well, no, because you're doing this negative thing you do, which makes you look bad when you do it.
No, but this is the thing. I think this perfectly encapsulates how we both see the world, though. And that you'll just...
Yeah, you assume everyone's trying to be mean, and no one is.
Yeah, and you'll just assume the best out of everyone. Whereas the reality is there's probably a middle ground. Like, we don't know for certain that they're not sitting back, drinking their whiskey and laughing at the poor peasants that don't understand this.
Except that I read that bit in the back, Liam, because it's my second time, so I decided to read it.
Wow.
And they lay out what their thoughts were for this, and it's incredible. And it sounds like it was more an artistic idea that they were going with. The way they describe it is they were trying to write something that had elements of film in it, which they say like a bunch of the box sizing on certain cells is done to look like a letterbox as opposed to the traditional comic sort of square.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite interesting. And then they said, and they wanted it to, instead of be the linear narrative that most things were known for, they wanted to see what they could do with a non-linear narrative, and also like take their inspiration from the way music is written. And I think it's two guys who were like, let's do an experiment.
Also, like, playing into how much I like the artwork, I did like the way it was laid out as well, like the panels and stuff.
Yeah, it is done in quite a cool way.
I think they used the absolute highlight. Like, Chris Burnham did a fantastic job with this. Grant Morrison, less so.
Whatever. Grant Morrison, I think you're a fucking legend. I think everyone that works on this is a legend, including the letterer.
And honestly, here's the thing as well. I am 100% aware that I'm in the minority with this. Like,
I don't think you are. I think you'll be in the majority. I think if we sat everyone down...
We've had 2 people tweet about this.
Yeah, we have. But that's the 2 people that have read Nameless who care.
Yeah, we had 20th Century Geek tweeted saying they really enjoyed the series, but it took a second and possibly third read-through to fully understand what was going on. Which is fun. Like, for me, I didn't like the first read-through enough to then want to go and read through again. And we also had the Lame On podcast, who said that they loved this book until reading this comic. Their lives were empty without an occult space horror book based on Mayan mythology, and it gave them crazy, scary nightmares. Which, none of it was, like, had enough of an impact on me that it like, had a lasting enough impression for me to then, like, have a nightmare or anything about it.
Well, no, I don't think I had any nightmares, but I get it. He might have also, not been saying that literally. Although, if he was, I would enjoy having a nightmare based on this.
Okay, that was a bit messed up.
Because it would be insane, it would make no sense, and I'd be like, holy shit, what the fuck did I just dream?
Yeah, that's what most dreams are like, though, right?
Well, no, dreams tend to have a narrative that you can follow. Like, weird stuff happens in them, but in the moment, you don't think of it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What would you give it out of 5?
4.
Solid 4?
Yep. You?
1.5.
Fair enough. Very low.
Yeah. But I honestly, I wouldn't not recommend it to someone. I would recommend it to people who I like you.
I don't know what that means, Liam, so I'm going to take it as a compliment.
It's not an insult. Like, if someone was like, I fucking love Event Horizon, it's like one of my favourite things, I'd be like, well, do I know a comic for you?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like, dark sci-fi that doesn't lend itself easy to explanation.
Sure. What are we doing next time, Liam?
Well, Jack, next time, it's bloody going to be Christmas. Can you believe already? Christmas again.
I'm so excited. I've already listened to my Christmas playlist for 3 days in a row, I think.
Well, I'm really excited to do our annual bumper Christmas special episode.
Yep, so am I.
Because obviously we know what happened last year, don't we?
You watched 3 films instead of 1 and made me watch a pile of shit.
So, let's see what's going to happen this year.
Effectively, last year was sort of annoy Jack as much as you can day. Don't worry.
What was that?
I said effectively it was annoy Jack day.
That's like my Christmas.
Yeah, see if you can piss me off.
Yeah.
Which is very easy.
Well, here's the thing. I considered your feedback to the film I gave you last year. And I, the things that you didn't like about it. So, we're going to try something a little bit different this year.
Okay. I have one question.
Yeah.
Which is the only one I think of at the moment. Is it a horror film?
Yep.
Okay, so when you took my feedback, did you ignore a lot of it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, the thing is, Jack,
with
Christmas, there's a few films that they're very typical.
Yeah.
Like Miracle on 34th Street. It's a very typical Christmas film, isn't it? And you've given me a very typical Christmas film, which
we haven't said that yet,
I'm happy to do.
Yeah.
I know, but I have inside knowledge. I'm very happy to do. Like last year, you gave me a very typical Christmas film, so I like to bring an element of. And also, one of the things I would like to point out is we're doing something very special because we haven't done this in a long time, where we're both giving ourselves something different to do, which is what we used to do, and then we changed that, didn't we?
We did, because it made more sense. Like, it was harder for us to compare stuff when we were doing 2 separate things.
Exactly. And it's hard to have like a real deep discussion without the podcast running really long.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but for our Christmas specials, we go back to the old formula.
Which are bumper episodes, aren't they? So
yeah, they're allowed to be slightly longer.
So this year, to get you feeling happy and festive, it's a film from 1984 called Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Okay, yeah, this is the film I thought you were going to suggest me.
Why did you?
I've never seen it, but I remember you watching it at uni.
Okay.
Did you do it for something at uni? Was there I sort of vaguely remember there being
No, I was just watching Christmas horror movies.
Yeah, that makes sense, yep.
Because I don't, Christmas, I don't feel like it's a good reason to not watch horror.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So I don't know anything about this movie. I know that I know there's killing in it.
Oh, there was controversy when it was released, Jack.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
That's interesting.
Is
it like... How does it rate? What do you rate this film as? Or do you not want to give it away? Do you think it's a good film, or is it like a alright film?
It's alright.
Okay.
Like, put it this way. The benchmark for Christmas horror-themed movies, I would say, is probably the original Black Christmas.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen that.
It's also a fun little fact. Is one of the, like, not the first slasher film, but it's definitely an early example of the slasher film.
Okay. Well, I like slasher films.
Yeah, and so this is a slasher film, you know?
We'll see. We'll see if I like it.
We will.
God. And sort of to counter that, I guess, because I love Christmas so much and want everyone to feel Christmassy, I've suggested my favourite Christmas film ever, which is Elf.
Which I've seen before, and it's a good film. I have no issues with Elf.
Yeah, so we're going to get to watch one good Christmas film.
I wouldn't say it's my favourite Christmas film.
No, Die Hard's your favourite Christmas film.
Yeah.
Elf has always been, since it came out.
Yeah.
Like, my whole family loves Elf. To be honest, I'll probably watch this one with them.
Yeah.
It's just such a good film.
That's fair enough. I can't argue with you there. It's a fine film. I probably wouldn't put it in my like top 5 Christmas films.
That's fine. You don't have to.
Like Die Hard would be up there. I think Home Alone would be up there.
Oh, that's true. Home Alone's always good.
Yeah, like there's a lot of good stuff. I'm probably picturing it to be better than the Santa Claus trilogy.
Yeah, I think.
Here's the thing: I don't think there's a sequel or anything to Elf, so I can't.
Yeah, no. So what I've got to do, so from now on, when I suggest you a Christmas film for our special, I'm going to have to pick something that doesn't have a sequel, so that you can't annoy me by watching all of them.
Yeah. The thing with Silent Night, Deadly Night is this is going to start what will be a 5-year tradition.
Yeah, that's you have said that before about what you were picking. You've known what film you're picking for most of this year, I think.
Ever since the end of last year, when I was like, shit, I should have picked that for last year.
Yeah. So prepare yourselves, listeners, because this is probably the first in a sort of 5-part Christmas special bonanza for the next 5 years, if we're still around.
I don't see why we wouldn't be.
True.
Unless it gets to the point where you're like, we're like 3 in, and if you recommend me another one of these fucking films.
True.
I'm really excited.
I'm glad you are. I'm indifferent at the moment. I don't know whether I'm going to enjoy it or not. I hope I do.
Can I give a little teaser?
Yeah, go on.
As excited as I am for this year, I am twice as excited for next year.
Oh, okay.
So take that what you will.
That's fine. That's like, like the first Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Most people, like, that's not even got him in it.
No. Well...
Right at the end.
Yeah. Next year's going to be a good one. And people out there that have seen the sequel, they'll know why. But obviously, I can trust that you're not going to go above and beyond and watch 5 of these films.
I'm really not.
So I'm pretty confident that this is going to be a nice, 5-year journey we're going to go on.
Oh, good.
It's exciting, Jack.
It is.
It's Christmas time, there's snow and stuff going on, Santa's being jolly, and it's a good time.
If you want to get in contact with us, you can tweet us at nerdonnerd, or you can email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com. You can also, if you want to be really nice, rate us on iTunes. We accept 4 or 5-star reviews. 3 we'll accept, but we'll be moody. 2 and 1 we please ask you not to put.
I'll
because
complain.
It's mean. Liam will write to the maker of iTunes.
No, I'll complain on the show.
Oh, okay, or on the show.
That's not a reason to do it, by the way.
I mean, it'd be quite funny. If I was you, listeners, I would be tempted, but please don't. Yeah, I'm asking you not to.
We need to wrap this up because Jack needs to go poopy. So
it's so bad, guys. It's real bad.
YouTube, you can find us, just type in Nerd on Nerd, all one word. Is that it?
Yeah, bye!
Bye, have fun pooping.